out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. The channel about getting prepared for SHTF because it's upon us. Now, as if being in SHTF wasn't bad enough, I've actually taken myself and driven to the very heart of an SHTF situation that is developing in the great state of Florida. Good golly, I can't sleep anyways now. I've gotten into this routine of waking up very early. And as if I wasn't already waking up early all the time, for the last 10 years you guys have known me? Wake up at 5 in the morning or 2 in the morning and just start thinking and reading and researching. Well, it's just been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. What is going on? World War III. Now, we still like to live in this world where there's an event and then everything's just different. You know, your team wins the world championship. Your kid is born, your kid graduates, someone dies, and that's the event and that's how it is, and that's how the world is. Well, it's funny, World War III is different, isn't it? Shit hitting the fan is a series of small events with large events in it, but it's a series of small events. It's a progressive push in a direction. That's what politics has been my whole life. There is no moment where it goes from freedom and liberty to tyranny and despotism. Well, war has been the same way. It's a progressive change in beliefs, a progressive change in events and actions going in a specific direction. Now, actually, this is not a new phenomenon. It isn't. Let's look back at World War II. History as a guide. World War II, well, the first shots were fired when? 1939, right? When Russia invaded Poland. Well, yeah, that did happen. Russia finally invaded Poland, but it wasn't until 1941, 2 years later, that the United States involved itself. But it was, folks, well over a decade before the Nazis, that's right, those crazy, rascally fascists, right, took well over a decade for them to come to power, destroy the German Weimar Republic, not the Weimar democracy, the Weimar Republic. And they went right from republic to dictatorship. And then it still took time. It still took a progression of events in history before violence broke out in such a way that World War started. Now, I just talked about several different SHTF topics just in that kind of intro to World War II. What do we have now? We really have the exact same thing playing out. I use the word exact. It is so similar, you would think that history then and now is twins, right? They're certainly siblings, born of the same, right, mothers and fathers of chaos and misinformation. Oh, no, not my misinformation, folks, or yours, but government misinformation. So let's kind of go through it and take a peek, right? It took quite a while. And he said well over a decade for them to ruin Germany. Right? They called for freedom and protection, but what did they do? Well, the nasty fascist, that is socialist, folks, they were socialist Nazis, right? They took control. They proclaimed any opposition to be the enemy, right? They armed themselves, not for peace, but for war. And then it started. What do we have going on today, right now? We have people in Washington, D.C., and indeed in every country around the world, And by people, I don't mean real people, these just nasty bastards in government, political officials. And just like World War II, the same Germans, the same socialist Nazis, guess what? They were supported by billionaires, mega millionaires at that time. Those mega millionaires, folks, supported what? The political evil that became the Nazis. It's happening today. They created a system where, well, we've got to hate Russia. That's right, folks. The Nazis were put in place to stop the Russian Soviets, right? The communists. And so they supported Hitler with money. They supported him socially with praise. Oh, yeah, Times Man of the Year, folks, right before he invaded. Right before he invaded Poland, Times Man of the Year was Hitler. All we need now is for Zelensky to be Times Man of the Year. Who supplied a lot of Hitler's literal war machinery? Let's see, Standard Oil, which is now Chevron, Ford Motor Company built engines, tanks, trucks. American manufacturers, folks, supplied chemicals, fuel additives, other significant parts of the German war machine that Germans couldn't make for themselves. Now we have Zelensky. What did he do just, was it yesterday? He thanked the United States for supplying mid-range mobile missile launching systems. Moving away from short-range missiles, folks, now he has mid-range. Zelensky can certainly reach, folks, from Ukraine, not only into the breakaway republic states of Donetsk and Luhansk, he can reach further into Russia. Boy, I can just smell the SHTF cooking as we slowly, incrementally move towards World War III. Oh, yeah. Now, the media is talking about it. The politicians are talking about it publicly. Right? The threat of nuclear war hasn't been this high since the Soviet Union, another socialist regime. Nuclear war. This isn't just implied threats, folks. There are now real threats. They're preparing Ukraine right now for an incredible showdown with Russia, possible complete and total Russian invasion. Russia now has initiated a draft, and there's a serious, shall we say, prison penalty for dodging the draft or running, trying to get out of the country. The Europeans, or at least the Russians, seem to know that this is very real and it's happening. It's going to happen. Americans still are busy with their popcorn, watching what's going on as if they were at the Battle of Gettysburg and that this was just a show. That's right, folks. Literally, at the Battle of Gettysburg, in the Civil War in the United States of America, the wealthy people put on their best clothes, took their favorite carriage and horses, and went to watch the Battle of Gettysburg from afar to see how it turned out. Boy, isn't that interesting? Let's go watch people kill each other, slaughter each other in person. Well, folks, they didn't have, the internet or television or even radio during Gettysburg. So if you were within distance, you went and watched the fucking battle start. That's exactly what we have today. People engaged in watching. Isn't that interesting, Margaret? Well, I'll tell you what, Fred, this is just an interesting war that's developing. I don't think it's fucking interesting at all from the aspect that we're going to be exposed to war. People are going to be dying everywhere, suffering greatly. Entire countries and nations are going to be impoverished and enslaved through this. We're all going to suffer economic consequences that no one wants to really think about and pretend like aren't happening. food shortages, fuel shortages, energy shortages, Yep, people are going to die from the consequences. What's a consequence? Well, power outages, fuel shortages. People are going to freeze to death. People are going to starve to death. That's a consequence, and it's coming. Oh, isn't it great? We can watch all this from TV from the comfort of our lazy boy furniture, just as comfortable as can fucking be, while the Democrats and the World Economic Forum and these rich bastards all play with their toys and are creating a war situation. But it's not good enough. No, we've got to give it, what, another 10 billion? Another 10 billion to Zelensky? And then we're going to supply him with even more weaponry, even greater, right, weapons that are more dangerous, or should I say, I mean, all weapons are dangerous, but they're the weapons they have now, these mid-range missiles, allow Ukraine to become an even bigger threat to Russia. An even bigger threat. What a great idea. Right? Russia has not moved out of Donetsk and Luhansk further into Ukraine. Could it be more obvious, folks, that their intention is not to overwhelm those republics and then move into Ukraine and take it? But that's where we're led to believe is, oh no, Russia's trying to take over all of Ukraine, right? They're gonna annex all of Ukraine, then they're gonna annex Poland, and then they're gonna annex the Czech Republic, and then they're gonna do this, and then they're gonna. Where's the evidence of that? Oh, I know, right? I know. It's just it's really hard because they're such incompetent morons, but they really want to do that, and since they've invaded. Oh wait, no, I thought they went into Luhansk and Donetsk to defend their breakaway movements. Well, it depends on what story you want to believe, but it's a slippery slope, John. They invaded those little countries. Well, I think those countries are about the size of San Bernardino County in Los Angeles area of California. Still, we can't trust those Russians, those sneaky bastards. Who's sneaky? Right? Who are the sneaky bastards? Well, folks, World War III, it's slowly getting here, right? So close. And it's not really that far anymore. We're getting the events. The gearing up is coming. We're seeing, folks, our own government turn and just turn itself away from, what do we want to call it? Common sense, intelligent thinking. It's incredible to me that they can't come to any conclusion other than they need to do what they're doing, whether it's facing off against Russia and encouraging violence there, to turning on the Constitution and saying, yeah, we need to change the Constitution now. Oh, we'll be talking about that later. We need to change the Constitution? Why? Well, because that guy Trump, he might become president. So now we need to look at changing the Constitution. What? Unbelievable, folks. Talk about creating a boogeyman out of nothing. But that's what they're doing. So they can create the situation whereby they can what? Take full and total control under dictatorial premises to stop an enemy that doesn't exist. In fact, the government is the enemy. The Democrats are the enemy. The socialists in America are the enemy. And they're coming. They're here. They're in control. And they're taking more power. World War III, we're almost there. Right? There is violence. Armies are mobilized. The draft has started in Russia. The threats are coming. Nuclear war is on the table. So much that they're even handing out iodine pills in Ukraine. Be scared. Chance favors the prepared mind. Stay tuned for what is coming next when I do my report this afternoon. Godspeed, everyone. Semper Fi.